My youngest nephew, whenever he says he's going to do something, always adds the words bli neder, which roughly translates to, but I'm not promising. Why does he say this? Because Jewish tradition places an extraordinarily high value on keeping one's vows or promises. If one is not 100% certain that they're going to be able to keep the vow, it is better not to make it at all. This goes all the way back to the end of the Noah story in the Torah, when God promises never again to destroy humanity and places the rainbow in the sky as a symbol of that vow. In Deuteronomy chapter 23, verses 22 to 24, which we read just a couple of weeks ago, we read, "When you make a vow to the Eternal your God, do not put off fulfilling it, for the Eternal your God will require it of you, and you will have incurred guilt, whereas you incur no guilt if you refrain from vowing. You must fulfill what has crossed your lips and perform what you have voluntarily vowed to the Eternal your God, having made the promise with your own mouth." So perhaps it should come as no surprise that the first act of atonement in our Yom Kippur liturgy is to ask for absolution for the sin of breaking vows. The central piece of liturgy in the Yom Kippur evening service, for which the service itself is named, is Kol Nidrei. The phrase Kol Nidrei comes from Aramaic and means far more than its literal translation, all vows. The vows to which it refers, according to the Torah, are binding promises made before God. In fact, Kol Nidrei is not a prayer at all, but rather a legal formula used for the annulment of vows. All vows, prohibitions, oaths, and pledges we now vow, prohibit, swear, or pledge between this Yom Kippur and the next Yom Kippur, we publicly renounce. Let them all be relinquished, abandoned, canceled, null, and void, without power and without standing. Our vows shall not be valid vows, our prohibitions shall not be valid prohibitions, and our oaths shall not be valid oaths. Notice that we are not asking God to forgive those vows that we made and did not keep. Instead, we are asking God to consider the vows that we will make during the coming year and consider them invalid. We acknowledge our tendency to want to promise even what we are not sure we can deliver. This is human nature. It is our best quality done from a place of goodness and a desire to do for others. And it also causes stress and anxiety, can harm relationships, and cause friction in the workplace when we and others don't follow through on our promises. Although the origin of Kol Nidrei is unknown, there are several theories. One popular theory is that it was developed by medieval Spanish Jews during the Inquisition in the 15th century, when many Jews were forced to convert to Christianity or face death. These Marranos, or conversos as they were known, many of whom converted in name only and found a way to practice Judaism secretly at home, created Kol Nidrei to nullify their vows of conversion before God. The formal and legalistic nature of the prayer lends validity to this theory. Additionally, by setting it at the beginning of the first Yom Kippur service, these Jews found a way to confront their worst sin first and get it out of the way so that they could then devote the rest of Yom Kippur to their other transgressions. Most scholars, however, believe that Kol Nidrei has much earlier roots and probably predates the Marranos. Although it is still unclear exactly when or where the formula originated, the wording is very similar to contracts written by the Babylonian Jewish community during the 6th and 7th centuries. The haunting melody of Kol Nidrei comes from a body of music called Sinai, of Sinai melodies, which originated in Germany between the 11th and 15th centuries. These melodies became attached to prayers of the Ashkenazic Jews and were passed down through the generations. There are, of course, any number of variations. However, they are all recognizable by the beginning and ending phrases and the melodic runs that characterize the composition. We will get to hear Josie play Kol Nidrei on the violin for us again this year, accompanied by Manahara on Yom Kippur evening. In the meantime, enjoy this beautiful rendition of the Bruch Kol Nidrei by Yo-Yo Ma.